An 105-year-old doctor in Japan discovered something remarkable. 3 simple stretches done right before bed helped over 1 million seniors finally sleep through the night. No pills, no gadgets, just movement. Here's what he found. I'm here at Prime Health Lab, and today we're exploring why these specific stretches work so well for sleep, especially as we age. This isn't just about relaxation. There's actual science behind why certain movements before bed can completely change how quickly you fall asleep and how deeply you rest. If you want more evidence-based health strategies like this, go ahead and subscribe. We break down what actually works and why. Let's get into it. Now, here's what most people don't understand about sleep problems as we get older. It's not just about feeling tired. The real issue is what's happening inside your nervous system throughout the day. Your body operates on 2 modes. Think of them like gears in a car. The first gear is your sympathetic nervous system. This is your stress response, your action mode, your fight or flight. It raises your heart rate, tenses your muscles, keeps you alert. The second gear is your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest mode. It slows everything down, relaxes muscles, prepares you for recovery and sleep. When you're younger, switching between these gears happens naturally and efficiently. You're active during the day, sympathetic system engaged. Evening comes, parasympathetic system kicks in, you wind down, you sleep. Simple. But here's what changes with age. That switching mechanism starts to malfunction. Your sympathetic nervous system, that stress mode, it starts staying on longer than it should. Even when you're sitting still in the evening, even when you're lying in bed, your body is still in that alert state. Your muscles are holding tension you don't even notice anymore. Your heart rate stays slightly elevated. Your breathing stays shallow and quick. This is why counting sheep doesn't work. This is why reading in bed sometimes doesn't help. Because you're trying to calm a mind that's sitting in a body that's still in action mode. The signal to sleep never fully arrives because your nervous system hasn't made the switch. The Japanese doctor, Shigeaki Hinohara, he understood this deeply. He lived to 105, working until his final years. And he observed thousands of patients struggling with sleep. What he noticed was fascinating. The seniors who slept best weren't necessarily the ones who were most tired. They were the ones whose bodies had learned to actively shift out of that sympathetic state before bed. Here's the interesting part. Your nervous system doesn't just respond to your thoughts. It responds to physical signals from your body. When you stretch in specific ways, you're sending direct messages to your brain. You're telling it, we're safe now. We can relax now. It's time to switch gears. But not all stretches do this effectively. Some stretches can actually wake you up, activate you more. The 3 stretches Dr. Hinohara identified work because they target the exact areas where we unconsciously hold the most tension throughout the day. They also activate pressure sensors in your muscles and joints that specifically trigger that parasympathetic response. Think about where you feel tension accumulating. Your neck and shoulders from looking at screens, your lower back from sitting, your hips and legs from walking with poor posture or holding stress in your stance. These areas become locked. The muscles stay semi-contracted. Even when you think you're relaxed, they're like a door that's not fully closed, not fully open, stuck. When muscles stay in this semi-tense state, they send continuous signals to your brain that there's still something to be alert about, some threat, some task, something unresolved. Your brain receives these signals and keeps your nervous system in that ready mode. Even if consciously you feel calm, your body is telling your brain a different story. This is the root cause of why so many people, especially as they age, lie in bed with a quiet mind but can't fall asleep. The mind is willing, but the body hasn't agreed yet. The nervous system hasn't received the clear signal that it's safe to shut down for the night. The solution isn't stronger sleep aids. It's teaching your body how to actively release that held tension and shift into rest mode. That's exactly what these 3 stretches accomplish. So let's talk about what happens in your body when you hold tension all day and why it directly blocks sleep at night. Your muscles contain something called muscle spindles. These are tiny sensors that constantly measure how stretched or contracted your muscle fibers are. When a muscle stays contracted for hours, even slightly, these spindles send steady signals up your spinal cord to your brain saying, "We're working, we're engaged, stay alert." At the same time, you have other sensors in your tendons called Golgi tendon organs. These measure tension and pressure. When you actively stretch a muscle and hold it gently, these Golgi organs send a completely different signal. They tell your brain, "We're lengthening, we're releasing, we're safe." This signal directly activates your parasympathetic nervous system. This is why Dr. Hinohara's stretches are done slowly and held for specific durations. You're not trying to increase flexibility. You're trying to change the signal your body is sending to your brain. You're manually switching the gear from action mode to rest mode. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. When you've been holding tension in certain muscles for years, those muscles develop trigger points. These are small, hypercontracted knots within the muscle tissue. They form from repetitive stress, poor posture, emotional tension that gets stored physically. These trigger points are like little alarm systems that keep firing even when there's no actual threat. A trigger point in your neck can make it harder for your jaw to relax. A trigger point in your hip can keep your lower back engaged. These connections happen through something called fascial chains. Fascia is the connective tissue that wraps around every muscle in your body, linking everything together like a web. When one area is tight, it pulls on connected areas, creating a chain reaction of tension. So when you lie down at night, you might think you're relaxed because you're not moving. But multiple trigger points throughout your body are still firing, still sending alert signals through those fascial chains. Your nervous system receives all these inputs and decides, not safe to fully shut down yet. This is particularly pronounced in 3 specific areas, which is why Dr. Hinohara focused his stretches there. The first is your spine, specifically your lower back and the muscles along your vertebrae. This is where most people accumulate the deepest, most chronic tension. When this area stays tight, it affects your breathing pattern. Your diaphragm can't move fully. Your breath stays shallow. Shallow breathing keeps your sympathetic nervous system engaged because shallow, quick breathing is what your body does during stress. It becomes a feedback loop. Tension restricts breathing. Restricted breathing maintains tension. The second critical area is your hips and hip flexors. These muscles connect your legs to your torso. When you sit for hours every day, these muscles shorten and tighten. Even when you stand up and walk, they don't fully release. Tight hip flexors tilt your pelvis forward, which strains your lower back, which restricts your breathing, which keeps you in stress mode. Everything connects. The third area is often overlooked. It's your legs, specifically your hamstrings and calves. These muscles work constantly throughout the day, supporting your body weight and movement. They accumulate metabolic waste products like lactic acid. When they stay tight, blood flow is restricted. Restricted blood flow means less oxygen delivery, more waste buildup, more discomfort signals being sent to your brain. Those discomfort signals, even if they're below your conscious awareness, contribute to that overall sense of your body not being ready to rest. What Dr. Hinohara understood was that you need to address all 3 areas in sequence. You can't just stretch one and expect your whole nervous system to shift. It's like trying to close a door when 3 different latches are still engaged. You have to release all 3 latches in the right order for the door to close smoothly. The beauty of his approach is that these stretches take less than 10 minutes total. But those 10 minutes are doing something your body desperately needs and isn't getting any other way during your day. You're actively resetting your tension patterns. You're clearing the backlog of held stress. You're giving your nervous system permission and the physical conditions it needs to finally switch into sleep mode. Now let's go deeper into why timing matters so much with these stretches and what's actually happening in your brain when you do them right before bed. Your brain produces different neurochemicals throughout the day based on signals it receives from your body. During the day, when you're active and your muscles are engaged, your brain releases cortisol and adrenaline. These keep you alert, focused, ready to respond. This is normal and healthy. But as evening approaches, your brain is supposed to shift its neurochemical production. It should start releasing more serotonin, which then converts into melatonin, your primary sleep hormone. This conversion process is called the sleep cascade. It's like a series of dominoes that need to fall in the right sequence. Here's the problem. That conversion from serotonin to melatonin only happens efficiently when your parasympathetic nervous system is activated. If your body is still sending stress signals because of held muscle tension, that cascade gets interrupted. Your brain continues producing cortisol when it should be producing melatonin. The timing gets thrown off. This is why you can feel exhausted but still lie awake. Your mind knows you're tired, but your brain chemistry hasn't made the shift because your body hasn't given it the right signals. Dr. Hinohara recognized that by doing these specific stretches in the 30 minutes before bed, you're essentially forcing that cascade to begin. You're giving your body no choice but to start the neurochemical shift toward sleep. There's another mechanism at play here that's equally important. When you stretch and hold a position, you're also affecting something called your vagus nerve. This is the longest nerve in your body, running from your brainstem down through your neck, chest, and abdomen. It's the main highway of your parasympathetic nervous system. The vagus nerve has branches that connect to muscles along your spine, in your diaphragm, throughout your core. When these muscles are chronically tight, they can actually compress or irritate the vagus nerve. This compression reduces something called vagal tone, which is essentially how well your parasympathetic system functions. Low vagal tone means poor sleep, poor digestion, higher anxiety, slower recovery from stress. When you do these stretches, particularly the ones targeting your spine and core, you're decompressing the pathway of the vagus nerve. You're restoring space, reducing irritation, improving vagal tone. Higher vagal tone means your body can more easily drop into that deep rest state. Your heart rate slows more effectively. Your breathing deepens naturally. Your digestion improves, which also affects sleep because digestive discomfort is a major sleep disruptor. Now, here's something that surprised researchers who studied Dr. Hinohara's methods. They found that people who did these stretches regularly for just 2 weeks showed measurable changes in their sleep architecture. Sleep architecture is the structure of your sleep cycles throughout the night. You move through different stages: light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. Each stage serves a different recovery function. What they discovered was that these stretches didn't just help people fall asleep faster. They actually increased the amount of time spent in deep sleep, which is the most restorative stage. Deep sleep is when your body does the majority of its physical repair, when your immune system strengthens, when your brain clears out metabolic waste that accumulated during the day. The reason this happens comes back to muscle tension. When your muscles stay partially contracted during sleep, your body never fully enters deep sleep stages. It stays in lighter sleep because some part of your system is still on guard. By releasing that tension before bed, you're removing the barrier that was preventing those deeper sleep stages. There's one more critical piece to understand. These stretches also affect your body temperature regulation. Your core body temperature needs to drop slightly for you to fall asleep and stay asleep. When muscles are tight, blood flow is restricted, which makes it harder for your body to release heat effectively. The stretching improves circulation, allows better heat dissipation, and facilitates that necessary temperature drop. Everything we've talked about, the nervous system shift, the neurochemical cascade, the vagal tone improvement, the sleep architecture changes, the temperature regulation, all of this happens naturally when you release tension in those three specific areas Dr. Hinohara identified. Your body already knows how to sleep deeply. These stretches simply remove the physical barriers that have been blocking that natural process. So here's what I want you to think about. If held tension in just three areas of your body is quietly sabotaging your sleep every single night, what would change if you spent 10 minutes releasing that tension before bed? What would it feel like to actually fall asleep within minutes instead of lying there for an hour? To wake up feeling genuinely rested instead of already exhausted? Your body is designed to sleep deeply. Sometimes it just needs a little help remembering how. Try it tonight. See what happens. And let me know in the comments what you notice. I'll see you in the next one.
Prime Health Lab is dedicated to men's internal health. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.